Listen very carefully. There is a stirring in the unseen realm, an invisible move that has already begun. And if you feel a strange calm, a sudden distance from things that once troubled you, a quietness in areas where you used to wrestle, it is because heaven has already stepped into your timeline. The shift has been scheduled. The breakthrough has been written. And the month ahead is not coming toward you, it is coming for you. Nothing will remain the same. There are moments heaven chooses for transformation. And when that moment comes, God begins by touching the heart. Before He opens the dubar outside you, He opens the clarity within you. Before He changes circumstances, He changes your posture. And this is why some of you have felt a holy detachment rising inside, old fears slipping off, old cravings losing power, old worries becoming strangely quiet. It is not fatigue, it is not confusper, ion, it is preparation. The Spirit is aligning you with what has already been decided. Emotional detachment is not the absence of feeling, it is the presence of a higher truth. When God matures you, He pulls you out of the turbulence of the moment and lifts you into the peace of His plan. And when Ibar stand in that peace, you no longer cling to what drains you. You no longer wrestle with what has already been settled. You no longer fear what cannot destroy you. You begin to move with purpose, speak with clarity, and walk with the quiet authority of someone who knows that heaven has spoken. Feber Re is a shift coming, and for many of you, it has already begun. God is cutting the cords to everything that would have slowed you in the next season. You may not understand why certain emotions shut down, why certain relationships faded. And when He leads, He never leads backward. You are being pulled into clarity, strength, boldness, and divine timing. You are entering a season where what once confused you will now make ye who do not understand your journey. Fusion is not CBR caused by a lack of answers, but by an excess of noise. The noise of opinions, the noise of emotions, the noise of fear-driven thoughts can drown out the gentle instructions of the Spirit. Detachment acts like a divine filter. It silences the unnecessary. Before you leap, Yober, you no longer react to every change because detachment trains you to wait for God's timing. You no longer seek answers from the outside because detachment anchors you in the inner witness of the Spirit. There are moments when God whispers because He wants you to lean in. Detachment makes leaning in possible. A crowded heart cannot lean, it collapses under its own weight. But a detached heart leans gently, leaning into faith, leaning into trust, leaning into divine direction. When you detach, the whisper becomes clear. The inner voice becomes unmistakable. The peace becomes your confirmation, and the guidance becomes so strong that even the loudest chaos around you cannot drown it out. This clarity is the gift of detachment. It is the Spirit's way of pulling you out of confusion and into communion. It is God opening your inner ear so that your steps become guided not by emotion, but by revelation. And when your life begins moving according to revelation, everything changes: your decisions, your relationships, your direction, your destiny. Detachment is not silence. It is the doorway into hearing heaven clearly. Detachment is a sign that the soul has entered a higher realm of trust. It is the quiet declaration that you no longer with surrender. And once this trust takes root, you no longer respond to life from a place of desperation. You respond from a place of authority. You speak differently. You pray differently. You walk differently. You are no longer trying to survive the storm. You are standing in the storm knowing God has already commanded it to work for your good. Many people beg God for deeper faith, not realizing that the answer often comes through detachment. The moment He begins removing emotional crutches, they panic. They fear loss. They fear uncertainty. But heaven sees something different. Heaven sees you rising. Heaven sees you strengthening. Heaven sees you becoming the person who can carry the next season without breaking. When God detaches you, it is because only a trusting soul can carry divine assignments without fear, without doubt, and without hesitation. When God plans a shift, He first detaches you from what would have held you back. This is one of the most consistent patterns in the spiritual realm, yet it remains one of the least understood. Before God opens a new CBR chapter, He quietly loosens the attachments of the old one. Before He elevates you, He separates you. Before He expands you, He frees you. This detachment does not always feel like a blessing. At first, it can feel uncomfortable, confusing, or even painful. But it is the divine signal that something GRBR ether is being prepared. Something your spirit must be light enough to receive. When God begins orchestrating a major shift, your internal world starts changing. Oasis and Avenue, Ted. What was confusing is being clarified. What was draining is being removed. And what is meant for you is already moving toward you. The shift is not coming, it is here. God has planned it. God has initiated it. God will complete it. So stand in peace.